tips for young DJs would be patience, probably. Play the long game, don't rush into anything, and don't feel like you're having to do everything all at once. A bit of a veteran now in this scene, I guess, having touring for kind of nearly 20 years, I would say that patience is the key, you know, and have a kind of, it's not always easy because sometimes people pop off really, really quickly and things happen overnight, it almost seems. But just try and ride that wave consistently rather than too many spikes, because, you know, gradually walking up a hill is a lot more successful than, you know, jumping straight to the top and then falling back down the other side. You know? But they say, don't they, that anything that's an overnight success probably isn't an overnight success. It's been building up to that point, you know. But yeah, you've just got to be patient, which is hard because it feels like, especially with social media and people's attention spans, that everything is so reactive. Of if you don't catch people in 3 or 4 seconds, they're gone, you know. But yeah, I think overall patience is key with this industry.
I want y'all to think about something for a second. DJing is truly an act from God, right? We take our 2 hands and our imagination and we shift the vibe in the room. We create energy, and we're also making memories memorable for all the attenders in the party. That's something that should be held sacred. DJing is an act of selflessness. It's not always about how we feel, even though we have preferences, but it's about the people. So understand this: doctors heal the body, therapists heal the mind, but the DJ heals the spirit. And it's not about clout, it's about calling. And when God calls you to help people heal through sound, that's sacred. Don't take for granted. Peace.
Creatives, you should stop making content. In fact, you should stop making art for your peers, that is. They're not your assignment and they're not your audience. You should make art for the people who love your art.
You ain't ready to put 5 years of grind into anything without making a quarter.
Right.
Don't even start. Sometimes it takes that long to get over the hump. They're not ready.
I think a lot of people go through this thing where if they share information, they're going to lose their business. They're going to lose their edge. 2 things are true in this world. 1, there's only one you, and nobody can do what you do, even if they try to copy you 1 for 1. It's never the same. And then 2, most people that you give information to won't actually take you up on your information. I could tell people right now how to start a business from scratch, all the pitfalls and all the things you should and you shouldn't do. And you know what? 2% will actually take my advice and use it. The rest of them either know better than me or are too lazy to make it happen.
Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But it's DJing's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm DJ Mikey Mike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the HitmanDDub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast with me, the HitmanDDub, and DJ Mikie Mike, along with DJ Kevin from DJ K Productions and DJ Will. And last
Will.
What's going on, guys?
And last week, we had talked about barn and tent weddings. And the 3 takeaways from that episode was plan for the venue, not just the party. Also, your sound and light matters. So make sure you bring the right equipment. And be proactive and scout the venues when you can, because they'll save you a lot of heartaches. And our DJ podcast is a place where DJs of all skill levels come to connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community. And so tonight's episode is all about whether or not you should be a solo DJ, a solo op, or join a multi-op, a group of DJs. So before we jump into it, how many people have worked with a multi-op before? Because I know I have experience with it. And then, do you all also do solo op work on the side? Okay. So Mikie Mike is the only one that never did a official multi-op.
Yep, never.
But you kind of like experienced it. You just didn't call yourself a multi-op, where you have a group of DJs that you give work to.
Oh yeah, I pass gigs along to my buddy Tyler, but he's in the service now,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other DJs that I did pass gigs on to. Never ask anything for, hey, I passed you the gig and I want something back for it. But no, they're working a gig, that's their money.
Okay, because that's similar to like what a multi-op is, but you're just not filing taxes and stuff as a bona fide company.
Well, it's like, how can you say, if you're a business owner, a friend of mine was a mason, and he was getting killed with taxes, workman's comp, health insurance, everything. So his accountant advised him to lay the guys off and then hire them back as subcontractors. So this way he had no taxes to pay, nothing. They collected their own money for what they were doing, and he collected his money for what he was doing.
Okay. Do you know if he was taking anything off the, like
From
a
them?
finder's
No.
fee or all right.
No. That's the same here with me. I wouldn't do that either.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we'll get into it in a second because there are people that do it. But a multi-op, and these are the different, there's many multi-ops, but we're just going to look at these 3. The general multi-ops, those are like someone that have a group of DJs that they can call to do a gig. And then you have the ones that's similar to that, but they do more of a production where they'll have the big scaffolds and they're hanging speakers, or they'll have a specific person to DJ a party, a specific person to MC the party, dance, a hype person, someone that does all the bookings and all that kind of stuff. Your higher end, the ones that you'll find more for the professional kind of gigs, like at a sporting event or like a big, huge company event. Those would be like your wedding corporate and production companies. And the last one would be multi-ops that work out of a bar or a club or have a residency where they're like, their gig is just working for that company every week. So real quick, the general multi-ops, their primary gigs are a mix of weddings, schools, and corporate events and private parties. And they're more of the jack of all trades. And they usually have anywhere from 3 to maybe 20 DJs who can be booked for different types, and a lot of them require that you send in like a resume and you sit down and you meet with them, and they try to, when they give you gigs, they try to give you gigs that's best fit your personality. And then what to expect, the flexibility is key. You gotta always be on call and gotta be ready to do many different kind of events. Whereas the corporate events might just be strictly wedding or might be strictly corporate. So therefore you have an idea at least that you'll be doing that kind of event. The next one is your wedding, corporate, and production. Those are the ones that does weddings, corporate holiday parties, mitzvahs, award shows, conferences, school dances, and trade shows. They are the ones that's highly professional, but with them, they will, when they bring you on to work for them, they'll train you. So they'll train you either to DJ, to be an MC, or bookkeeping. You'll get that training because with them, they want everyone to do the same thing the same way because you're representing a company. As opposed to the first one where they allow you, even though you're working for them and they'll get you gigs, you could still have the freedom to be yourself to a certain extent. But with this kind of wedding corporate production kind of company, you're expected to represent that company. Branding, you can't do your own extra branding. And then the last one is the club and nightlife DJs, where you're working out of bars, lounges, nightclubs, festivals, and they're often like a talent agent model where DJs are rostered and rotated within the venue. And then there's this focus on mixing skills, keeping the crowd hype, and maintaining venue relationships. Or more so, making sure if it's a bar, making sure you're able not only to bring people in and have that social media influence to give them promotional kind of marketable material, but also to, if they're a bar, make sure you make money for the bar. So those are the three main kind of multi-ops that we're going to talk about. So I know, Will, you're heavy into the multi-ops. So which one of those like categories do you work out of?
General multi.
Okay. And so what does that mean? Like, what does that?
Right now I'm working for two large companies. Well, one large company and one starter that just started. By the way, am I coming in clear?
Yep,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right. I'm starting with a new company for next year that's going to be paying me more. It's a little more, it's a starter company. And I'd say 80% of my gigs are through the companies. And then 20% is through like Mikie Mike, or I'll get my own gig. But most of the time, because I have a full-time job during the week and I do a lot of hours, I don't have time to meet with the bride and groom and do all that stuff. So for me, it's actually better just to have working for a multi-op. They provide me. Well, we'll get there, but that's the reason why I work for a multi-op.
Okay. I know, Kelvin, you said you work for one too. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started out, my uncle was sort of worked for a small, and then they sort of had another multi-op that sort of booked them, both agents, and I ended up going and working more for the second one than the first one. And then from there was a ownership dynamic change. There was a 50-50 partnership with a owner out of the Columbus market, and the local owner sold it to that. So then because of that, I sort of had to pivot into more of on my own. I still get any overflow, but now it's from the Columbus market and they already had a team. So I don't get the bookings that I was regularly getting when I was part of the local multi-op. So, so my mix right now is majority me with a minority of helping out the previous multi-op, but now it's out of Columbus. And those are during the hot times, which is what we're in now, September and October.
Okay. Because I know I work for a general multi-op, but then I also applied to a the wedding production kind of multi-op, Rock the House. I have because they sent out certain times of the year they'll send out ads asking saying they have job openings and to apply.
Join.
Yeah. So I sent
I just got one recently from your market. I don't remember what the name of it was, but it wasn't that one.
No, as another one. There's another one for, I think it's Northeast Ohio, that Facebook group. Another one had just sent one out that I had copied that I'm going to send out. And what they look for.
It's too far for me.
Yeah. It was like, I was in the midst of trying to go from part-time to like trying to DJ full-time. And since now that I retired from my job trying to get bookings, I looked at trying to join a multi-op to try to fill in the blanks. Whereas a multi-op is good for if you're not established and don't have that clientele, maybe you can try to join up with a multi-op. Or if you're trying to get your foot inside the door, sometimes if you don't have the gear or the right gear or the professional gear, if you can hook up with a multi-op or know somebody can kind of like help you along, that's another avenue to pursue. But going back to my situation, I wanted to try to be consistent, just to fill in the blanks for at that particular time. So what I had to do was they asked for a resume, and you definitely got to make sure that your social media is up to date. So they can go and look at your social media, so they can see that you DJ and what kind of DJ, kind of get an idea of what kind of DJ you are before they even sit down and meet with you. And then after that one, if they like what they see, then they'll call you or get in contact with you through email or something, and then they'll set up like a Zoom interview. So I had met with the Rock the House group, and the reason I applied to them was because I wanted something that was close to Cleveland, because all of my people, because it's like Kevin, he's down closer to Columbus, so all the gigs he gets that he can't do that he want to pass off, I gotta travel down to Columbus. And then my coworker DJ Randy, he's from Deerfield, so he's down near there. So again, any kind of job that he gets and that he sends my way, that means I have to travel way down there. So I was just trying to find someone that can get gigs that's close to here, where I don't have to, do all that extra driving. So we had a good conversation. He asked me basically, what kind of DJ do I see myself? As in, your philosophy. He was asking a lot of philosophy and outlook and my work ethic and my approach. And then he was asking me about like some other stuff outside of DJing that I like to do, hobbies, just to see do I have any kind of other kind of talent that could be useful for the group. So it's basically when a company interviews you, they're looking for someone that's dependable, someone that they know they can send out, and you're not going to disrespect and represent the company in a good way. And to make sure, again, everything is about reviews, and so that word of mouth is key. So they want to make sure that, and then also make sure that you have your own gear and your own ride to get there. Because some people will supply the equipment or the company car, but still at the same time, the more stuff they do or supply for you, that's more that they're going to take from your paycheck. So that's the thing you got to kind of look at when you join a multi-op. Because doing a solo op, there's a lot of work that you have to do as far as promoting and all that, the paperwork and meeting with the clients. But the thing is, the trade-off is, you're representing yourself, so it's your brand, and then you get all the money. You set the price, and you get that money that you asked for. Whereas a multi-op, the good thing about them, they'll do all the promotion and all the paperwork, but then you gotta play by their rules and go with what they want to pay you. So those are the trade-offs for those.
Two of my friends work for multi-ops, and Will too, but these two gentlemen, the one worked for his uncle, and he had to sign a contract with his uncle, and I overread the contract, and I told him point blank, do not sign this contract. And he's like, Mike, I want to work with my uncle. I said, I understand that, but your uncle's absolutely screwing you here. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, Luke, look at, you're DJing for him, you're getting gigs, and if he gets you the gig, he's getting like 65%, you're getting 35%. Then if you get a gig on your own that your uncle's not even involved in, you have to give him 50% of whatever you charge. So he's not getting you the gig. Well, why are you going to give him 50% of your earnings? That was on your own. So that put a sour taste in my mouth for, to go work for multi-op. And then another friend of mine, he worked for multi-op. It was up the line from my house at Clark Summit, somewhere up in that area. And the poor guy, he worked for this company for years on end until he finally made the break and went out on his own. The lady who owned the company knew exactly where he was from. She would never give him a gig in our area here. She would book him. He'd be out towards Western Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania. The one night he did a gig, it was in the wintertime, and he got snowed in. He had to stay there overnight. She didn't even help, not even help him, but gave him some money towards his room. Nope. That was your decision to stay overnight. You could have drove home. I'm like, oh my God, so I'm thinking to myself, when I started DJing, do I want to really go work for these type of people? I know there's a lot of good multi-ops out there, but I'm like, I'd rather work for myself. If I could do it, I'll do it. If I can't do it, I'll just, politely refuse the gig. And the thing is, as a single op, I always try to make sure I'm doing a wedding that I know I try to have a backup plan in case something happens. You never know. Like a couple months ago, I fell down the steps. There was no way I could have did these two gigs. So I had to back out of them because Will was busy, Tyler's in the service. And yes, I do know a lot of DJs, but it was last minute. I just couldn't push it over to them. They have experience, but not the experience like Will or Tyler have. So again, those two people I had to cancel on. That was the first time in 20 plus years of DJing. If I have a wedding come up, I'll call Will. I'll say, Will, are you open on this date? And let me check, Mike. And sometimes he is open, sometimes he isn't. So I know if something happens, I could inbox him, call him, whatever. And no, he never refused anything that I ever sent his way, or if ever needed help. I'll tell you a great story. The first time I met Will, me and my son were setting up for a gig, a wedding down at Gustionetti's, and all of a sudden I hear, hey, Mike, what's happening, man? I'm like, turn around, like, Will, and there he is. He came right in. He started helping me and my son set up the equipment and everything for that night, and just a wonderful person he is. I mean, I can't beat him. As a friend, as a DJ, Will, you're the best, man.
Right back to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, for the multi-op that me and Kevin is associated with, this one, it's like there's a two-parter to it. It's one where the main guy has a company, and the way it's set up, if you get a certain amount of reviews, you can be highlighted on the website. So you can be the preferred DJ. Other than that, he has an app. And whenever there's something that comes up that he can't do or the preferred DJs can't do, then they'll put it on the app. And then you can go and look at the app and
you'll get a notification that,
right.
Hey, I got an event here. anybody interested, anybody free on that date. And then I don't know whether they do it first come, first serve. I'll say, I'm available, or if I'm not, I usually don't respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it comes from the company, then
you got to represent the company.
Right, and then he takes $100 off or whatever that is. But if they do the booking for you and do all the paperwork, they take off more. But the other thing I like about it though is that there's a bunch of us DJs that do solo op stuff, and then sometimes we get in a bind, just like what you said, DJ Mike. And if for some reason I get caught up in a bind and I can't do something, I just put it on the app, and then another DJ would pick it up. And so therefore, you don't have to pay anything out the pocket. What you do is, it's all you. So that's why I like you can get a little bit of both worlds with that one.
That's a good idea with the app there. Yeah.
Because like I think the one Dwayne got, it was a DJ that was already booked, reached out to that DJ specifically, not through iShine. Well,
Right.
sorry, sorry, through the company, and so you were basically dealing one-on-one with that person, and that's why it wasn't through the other, through all the parameters that you were just discussing.
Right.
And because you're in a multi-op, then you have all these people that might get a similar situation, every day, where they got, I'm getting someone directly contacting me. I can't do it. Anybody out there free? So that's one of the nice things about multi-op.
With me, I have to contact the boss and be like, listen, I'm not, I know you gave me this gig 3 weeks from now, but I got to go to a funeral or something. I can't do it. He's going to have to look at his schedule, and he's going to have to bring somebody in from either the outside or one of the other guys. We don't have an app like that.
I got offered, this is 2 years ago, this local DJ called me up and said, hey, Mike, I booked too many gigs this weekend. Is there any possible way you could cover? I said, yeah, matter of fact, I am open. I'll cover your gig for you. I said, where's it at? He gave me the location, which was about 45 minutes away from my house here. And it was a 3-hour wedding. I'm like, 3-hour wedding? That's unusual. I never heard of a 3-hour wedding. But here it was actually 5 hours. It was cocktail hour, dinner, which I didn't have to pay for. All I had to do was from 7 to 10. No lights, no nothing. Just play music. That's it. I said, all right. I said, I caught him off guard. I said, what are you charging for this wedding? He said, I'm charging $3,200.
Jesus.
I said, $3,200 for 3 hours worth of music, no lights, no introductions, no nothing. He said, yeah. And then he told me what he was making for the whole weekend. He was making well over $30,000 because he had booked 6 gigs, and it's only him and his 4 other DJs. So he actually has enough for 5 gigs. Well, he booked 6. So I told him, I said, listen, all right, yeah, I'll take the gig. He said, well, what do you want? I said, give me $2,000. He's like, oh, no, wait, Mike, you're missing the point here. I said, well, what's the point? You're working for me. I'm like, okay. So what do you want to pay me? He said, well, I normally pay my DJs $400. I'll give you $200 more than what I pay my DJs. And I didn't want to be ignorant, but I told him, I said, listen, you just got into this business like 4 years ago. You're charging this astronomically amount of money to DJ a wedding that you don't have to have no lights and nothing for. And to me, that was way above what he should have been charging. And it was just, I told him, no. I said, I'm going to work for $600 for you. You're going to pocket $2,600. There's no possible way. Give me $2,000. You keep the rest. That's it. And he was like Hitman and Han. I said, all right, do yourself a favor. Refund a couple of the money. Send them my way. I'll charge him $2,000. He said, I can't. I said, why can't you? He said, I spent the money already. I'm like, you spent the money already? Yeah. And he made well over 30-something thousand dollars that weekend. He blew all 30-something thousand dollars that weekend. I'm like, oh my God, it just, to me, he's running a multi-op, but I mean, I understand he's the boss. He's going to make more money. But these other DJs have their own equipment. They're putting wear and tear on their equipment. They're putting wear and tear on their vehicles. They're setting up, they're breaking down everything. And he's giving them a small piece of the pie. He's keeping the big chunk of the pie. Be fair about it. If you're charging $3,000 for that wedding, you're not doing nothing. You're not setting nothing up. Okay, you talk to the couple, but then the DJ also talks to the couple too, and they set up, the whole timeline and stuff. They should get the bigger percentage, and you get the smaller percentage, but he doesn't see it that way. So
Well, and also the number he was giving you. Now, if he would have told you, it's like, yeah, I'm making 800, and I'll give you 400. Okay,
yeah,
it would have been more equitable. But when you heard his number, it's like, really? You value me that little? Well, thank you.
Well, I think I caught him totally off guard, Kev, and it was just like, so what are you charging for the wedding? And he told me, and he's like, I'm like, well, what? So I just beat him to the punchline, because I think if we kept the conversation going, he would have said, yeah, Mike, I'm only charging $800 for it, so I can only give you 400 for it, or 500 for it. I would say, okay, well, hey, he's only charging 800. I'm getting a little over 50%. I wouldn't think bad of it. But then if it ever got back to me what he actually did charge, then it'd be like, well, I would just, I wouldn't badmouth him, but he would never do that again to me,
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I had a situation where I got hey, I could use some help, and I was going to have to go towards Columbus, and then from there go a travel of another hour. The full amount of time was going to be, I think, like 11 or 12 hours. And I was going to get I think around $200. And it's like, roadieing, and so it breaks it down to about 10 an hour. It's like, no, I'm, not into that. The dynamics I had with the multi-op is there was two half owners. The local owner, he did it different than the guy that was in the Columbus market. Mm-hmm. The local owner had a team of DJs, and they all had their own gear, their own setups. It wasn't cookie cutter. One had JBL, one had RCF, whatever brands they had. Yeah. It was, and they knew what they were doing. And basically, they had a package price for different level of packages, more sophisticated, more sound, longer hours. And they took a flat rate as the down deposit, and that was kept with the owner of the company. And he applied that money towards the bridal shows, any marketing, incidentals. He did have insurance on all of us and all that stuff. So that 100 that we had to take that was the deposit that he got directly. The balance of the event, we got all that. Mm-hmm. And we were cool with that. The only drawback we had is the guy was a little on the frugal pricing. Even though he had well established in his market, we considered a little bit, it kept us busy, but you had to have busy to make money. So that 100 did sort of impact more on the cheaper shows, which, not so much if we got a lot of extra hours and they wanted extra things. So, but the other company that now is the full owner, his setup is he's got vans, he's got equipment. You just come there, get the van, go out, use his laptops, and my understanding, when I last discussed it with them, they were only paying like $25 an hour.
Yes.
Wow. All the guys up in our market were used to the other thing, and it's like, no. So that was sort of why I was forced to sort of go more on my own. We do still get the overflow, and the overflow we get based on the way we did it up here.
I have a question for you guys. Why do you think a bride would go with a multi-op instead of a single guy?
The prestige. It's just like
Like-
going with a name brand, like
Nick Spinelli's was it SCE or
Yep.
whatever?
SCE,
No,
I
it's
think
Jason
they-
Jedi's.
something like that.
and
Yeah.
it depends. It depends. It's more so, I guess, a name brand kind of stuff. Because
It
I've
also
seen
might
some.
make you feel better. It's like, do you want to go and get a burger from a McDonald's, or do you want to go to your local mom and pop store?
Mhm.
You know what you're getting when you're going to McDonald's. When you go to a single op, it's like, I hope they're good.
Well, the thing there, Kev, I mean, I'm a single op. I basically post everything on Facebook. I do have a website, but I haven't updated that in years. I go on my reputation. I'm there for one thing, and one goal is to make sure the bride and groom and their guests have a great time. The guests come up, talk to me. I work right with the photographer, because everything happens in front of the DJ. The photographers there or videographers there, and they want to take some pictures. I'll actually step out of the way during the first dance. I'll let them take pictures of the bride and groom, and I get so many compliments from the photographers and videographers for doing stuff like that. And with a multi-op, a good friend of mine got married, and not a good friend. She was actually my physical therapist, and she didn't know I was a DJ. And then after she booked her DJ, she's like, "Mike, I would have booked you." I'm like, "Oh, listen, don't worry about it." Then I asked her who her DJ was, and she told me, I said, "Oh, God bless you." She's like, "Why?" And I started telling some of the horror stories I heard about him, and she's like, "Oh no, please don't say that." Well, it turned out her wedding day comes up, and they get to the reception hall, and there's another DJ there. She's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Well, I work for so and so." She goes, "Well, no, he's supposed to be DJing my wedding." Well, he gave him some kind of excuse, this DJ did. Turned out he messed up the introductions. He played the wrong song for the introductions. He played the wrong song for the first dance. And I mean, that's their special day. If you're getting somebody to cover for you that you got ill or something like that, that's understandable. But you got to make sure that they're going to play the right music for the introductions, the first dance, parent dances. I mean, they are the main dances, and that's the main thing the whole night right there.
Like Nick Spinelli says, every wedding is a Super Bowl.
Yes, exactly. And you want to, for this up and coming DJ that stepped in, he now looks like a fool because he played everything the wrong way. He introduced the names weren't even right. It was like, I felt bad for this gentleman, and I felt bad for my friend. And she did contact her, and her husband did contact this multi-op owner. He said, "Okay, well, I'll refund you a percentage of your money," which he did. But still, you can never relive that day again. It's over. That day is over. You lost all your memories of that day. You lost your first dance with in her case, her first dance with her dad, the groom's dance with his mom. She's an elderly lady, so
Are you all still there?
Because number one, they don't go to weddings enough to know any good DJs, so they're going into it blind, and they want to go to a big company that provides a professional DJ that will not mess up that day because she doesn't know anybody to go to. And I think number two, at the end of it all, she could go on the reviews.
it stays up for maybe 2 hours, and then boom, bad review is gone. It's like, whoa, what happened to that review? So they can control that on their end, and they can delete every single bad review, and all you see is the good reviews. You don't see the bad reviews until you experience that DJ or DJs or whoever's working for them, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, my wedding's ruined, or say it's an anniversary party and the DJ's supposed to play their wedding song and it ends up playing something different. Again, I try to stress to every bride and groom or any person I'm doing an event for, I'm there for them. You're my boss. And I don't care if it's your mom and dad come up to me. If you say no request or no certain songs that you don't want to hear, and your parents come and say, hey, play this song for me, or for the bride and groom, or can you play this song? Well, I'm sorry, it's on their do not playlist. So I won't play. Well, I'm her mom. I'm the dad. I'm like, is your name on the contract? No. The other two I listen to is the bride and groom. That's it. So I try to gain the respect from every couple that I DJ for and every person I DJ their events for. I've been at it for 22 years. I don't get that many Google reviews because I don't ask for them. I just go by word of mouth. I've been doing it for 22 years. I bought two little 10-inch speakers and ran through a preamp. It was just as a joke because my buddy didn't show up for my nephew's graduation party. Then I bought some other speakers. I bought other speakers. Then I bought Behringer speakers, and then I went to Harbingers, and then I went to EVs and QSEs, and I have 4 18-inch subs, 2 12-inch subs. I have 8 12-inch tops. I probably have enough to have 3 DJs working directly for me, for lights, for mixers, for controllers. The only thing they would have to supply is their computer. That's it, But again, I go by DJ Mikie Mike. If it was a fictitious name like Valley Entertainment, yeah, I could have 10 other DJs working for me and say, here, I got the gear. This is what you owe me at the end of the gig. Boom, that's it. But I'm using my own name. It's not that I don't trust anybody. It's the thing is, it's my name. And if they goof up, they don't look back at that DJ that did the event for them. They look back at DJ Mikie Mike. It's Will, I trust you 1,000%, but you're working as Will. You're not working for DJ Mikie Mike, and I'm not asking you to work for DJ Mikie Mike. I want you to work for you. I want the people to get to know you, and the people that DJ for, they call me up and they're like, man, thank you so much. He was great. So that makes me feel good. And if I know it makes you feel good, they felt great that night. So everything worked out perfect.
Speaking of that, do you guys ever notice that when you work for a multi-op and you do a fantastic job, right? You go above and beyond. Everything was perfect. You had a great time. You ever notice that when you go back to the office to get paid or whatever, that week after, the owner never tells you, great job. We got this, we got that. It was amazing. They talked so great about you. They never say that. You know why? Because the more they say that about you, the more money you're going to ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time that they talk to you about something that happened or whatever, it's always like something negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you forgot to give the props out, or you did this, or they said that the lights weren't enough, or the sound, or whatever. It could be anything simple like that. But I've noticed that they never say good stuff about you, because they don't want to like blow up your head and then have you ask for more money.
They don't want to blow up your head, but then they don't want you to leave the company either, too.
Well,
Right. Yeah. So they maintain you there. Is that my impression, or
it doesn't work for me when I'm with the company that, like I said, was local, because at the end of the night we get the balance after they already took the down payment. So we get the full amount. We don't have to go into an office. We just hear, oh my gosh, you were wonderful. Like the last event I did 2 weekends ago, they were chanting my name. I was getting fist pumps. Everybody was like, man, you're awesome. And I said, hey, I don't really ask for reviews, but I would appreciate it. Now, I understand I was working for representing the other company, but I said, if you could, in your heart, give me a review under mine, and then just do a copy and paste for them. Because that's the problem with multi-ops. You do one for them, they either don't mention your name in that with the other company, and you don't get, all you're doing is padding their star, star performance. That's
you're
why
you're hyping them up.
Yeah, I need them to post for me too. I don't care. I have no problem with them posting there. And I explained that to them. I said, I totally get it because I was representing the other company, but it would help me out too because I'm now independent to put it on my site. And I gave them the name and everything. And the newlyweds were going to go on a vacation, and the mother, we were playing a little game with the multi-op owner. We were going to give him some gray hairs and say, oh my gosh, this guy was dreadful. We want our money back. We were trying to give him a heart attack because I like playing with the old multi-op owner because me and him are friends. So I have a good time with giving him a hard time.
One more thing is, I've noticed that they have a lot of young DJs working for them, and those young DJs get paid like, let's say, $350 for a gig. Now, mind you, like you said, they use their vehicles, their equipment, their laptops, their music, everything is theirs. The guy shows up, gets in the van, and goes to the gig, and he gets paid $350. But I've noticed that he doesn't give me those gigs because I get paid more. So what he does is, like, in the September, October months, he'll give me more work during that time because that's our busy time. Mm-hmm. That's when he's overbooked. So he has to book me because he's got nobody else. Because I charge more, he'll send out the younger guys that get paid less. He makes more money. So, gentlemen, it's all about the money with the multi-ops, with these guys that own these companies. They don't care about. They just care about just making sure that you do the job, that you don't go over or under. Just do the job. If you just do the job, you're going to get paid. They don't care if you do an amazing job because they're not going to pay you more. So,
well, see, I get the full amount, so I'm not a.
No, this guy.
You're basically playing against each other. I'll take 200. I'll take on 175.
No, so these guys are in-house. They don't.
And we don't do that. Ours is just a set rate. So he takes the 100, 125 for the booking to lock in that date for them, and then we get the balance 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is.
No, that's pretty good because the way it works with me is I'm using my own equipment, my own vehicle, and he'll let's go into pricing. He'll book a standard 5 or 6 hour wedding with ceremony and everything. I think he probably charges like $1,800, maybe $1,500 for a DJ, one DJ for a ceremony, cocktail, and reception. He'll give me 35% of that. 35% is what I get from that.
So what's he gonna do when you and I form our own group together, me and you?
So
he'll be out of DJ.
I'm out of business.
Be a great DJ.
So I'm actually working for another company now where I'm getting like 50%. So if he books like for $2,000, I'll get $1,000.
And that's fair to you, Will.
I
Honestly.
think that's fair.
I mean, what I used to do, I used to only charge like $50, $100 deposit. Now I'm charging 35% deposit because I got burned too many times. And also a month prior to, unless I know the couple, but 30 days prior to the event, it has to be paid in full. And if you cancel within 6 months prior to the wedding, you have to pay in full. End of story. I don't want no excuses. I felt bad for this future bride. Her fiance actually got another girl pregnant, and she canceled the wedding, and I felt so devastated for her. But I passed on other gigs, so gotta pay me. I'm sorry, and which he did go half with her on that part there, but it was just devastating for her. And also, I mean, I got paid for sitting at home, but the thing is, I would rather have done the gig than just be sitting home and enjoying seen this young couple getting married and having a good time, but here she was devastated, left at home alone too, and this future groom was off with his girlfriend. And the funny thing is, her due date was his wedding date with his future bride. So, I mean, he planned that very well. You know, hey, come on, it was unbelievable.
For those DJs that are young and they're bedroom DJs and they want to start getting experience working as a DJ, multi-ops are the way to go because you will learn what you need to know to be on your own.
Yep.
If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go through the stuff that I go through as a multi-op DJ quickly, just to let you know what I go through, and then you can decide among yourselves, young DJs, if you want to go through this, because this is the way. I have a full-time job that I do like 50 hours a week, so I don't even talk to the bride and groom. They provide me with the information on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night I'm downloading music, I'm organizing, I'm doing all this stuff, and then I do the wedding on Saturday. I meet them for the first time at the wedding. So real quick, multi-op companies, you're either bedroom DJ or you're a novice. Like if you don't know anything, they're good for that. As a bedroom DJ, you have an advantage because you're mixing, you know the software. Okay. The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to find the company. You're going to interview with the company. If they like you, they're going to send you out in the field with some of the experienced guys, and they're going to teach you how to put the equipment together. That's the first thing that's going to happen. They're going to train you out in the field. Then after you do that, they're going to send you to do small parties, birthday parties, non-wedding events. That way you get used to doing the equipment and stuff like that. Then they're going to put you together with an MC. So you're going to be DJing weddings. You're going to be the DJ. You're not going to be MCing, but you're going to be looking to see what the DJ does. And you get used to it, and you get used to the wordage. That's what happens after that. Then you're going to start practicing becoming an MC. You learn all the terminologies and everything, and you do it over and over and over again. And by then, you probably saved enough money to buy your own equipment. You're probably going to end up buying your own laptop, your own equipment. Then you're going to start doing weddings on your own by yourself, MCing and DJing your own wedding with the company. They're going to send you out to do weddings. They're going to give you all the information. You're going to knock it out. Once you get good, then you're going to ask for a raise because now you're a professional. I think if you've done more than, like, let's say, how many weddings do you think, like, do you have to do to become a professional? What, 50 weddings maybe?
One
wedding. So if you've done one wedding, you consider yourself
You got
like
paid. You're a professional, right?
got paid,
Okay.
man.
So you're doing weddings now. You're a professional. You ask for a raise. If he does give you a raise and you want to continue with the company and they treat you right, because that's very important. Because you know, if they're not treating you right and they're talking to you down to you and this and that, there's a lot of stuff going on. You can move on to another company as an experienced DJ and make more money. So you're going to start off with that one company. You're going to learn everything you need to know, and then once you're settled in, then you could ask for a raise. And if they do give you a raise, you can decide on staying there or moving on to another company and asking for a hell of a lot more, because now you're a seasoned DJ and it's somebody that you can trust. But I tell you one thing that you have to have when you work for a multi-op. You have to get there super early. You have to be on time. You can't make mistakes because they're going to get on you and they're going to get rid of you. If you start making a lot of mistakes and you don't care about what you do, you're not passionate about DJing, you consider it just a job, you start calling out sick and you don't do somebody's wedding and you do this and you do that, they're going to get rid of you. So just word to the wise, if you do join a multi-op, prepare to work, because you're going to spend the whole day doing a wedding. If it's a Saturday, trust me, by 11, 12 o'clock, you're already like loading stuff in a van. You got to get there super early. If you start getting there late, they will get rid of you. And I'm going to give you an example. On Wednesdays, this is what they give me on Wednesdays, okay? Look at all these, like, information. Like, these are the intros, the names of the people, like multi pieces of paper, okay? Now I take this and I make my own intro, okay? 1 page. Why? Because what happens is you're by yourself. You have paper on one hand, you have the mic, and then you're also doing the software, virtual DJ, you're doing the intros. So there's a lot of like multitasking going on. So when they give you all that information, okay, you got to take it and transfer it on your own list or your own intros. That way it's easier for you to look at it and not make mistakes. Because they're giving you like this information, they're setting you up for failure. So what you have to do is when they give you the information, you have to transfer it to your own list. If you do that every time you do a wedding, you're gonna be fine. But I promise you, you're gonna be working a lot more for a multi-op and making a lot less, but you're gonna be gaining a lot of experience. That's it.
The reason I said one, Will, is because say if you do that one wedding and you knock it out of the park, I mean, that's it. I mean, and if you make mistakes, that first wedding, they're gonna look at you and say, well, hey, it's your first wedding. Don't worry about it. You're learning from your mistakes. But if you knock it out of the park, guess what? They're not gonna praise you. They're just gonna say, hey, great job, man. Can't wait for you to do the next wedding. You're not gonna get a raise. You're not gonna do nothing. So your first wedding, you're a professional wedding DJ. Some other DJs may say, well, no, that ain't true, but yeah, in my eyes, it is true. As you said, you writing everything down on your own piece of paper. What I do, I have a wedding planner that I email to the couple that goes right out with the contract, everything. And I want that back 30 days prior to not 30 days, it's 1 week prior to the wedding. And when I get it back, I typeset everything because I got glasses. So I want the font's nice and big and bold, and I use Frank Gothic, and I use like a 20-point font. So it stands out for me if I hold the paper down here.
Yeah, because you're talking and reading at the same time, and you got your hand on the mouse because you're getting ready for the next song, for the bride and groom song and all that stuff. So you can't get lost on your information.
What I do is, like, for the introductions, if it's say the bride and groom says, all right, we're gonna have each person in the bridal party is gonna have their own song to come into. I create one MP3, send it to the bride and groom, or send it to the bride, let her in the bridal party preview it. If it's a go, good, I have that ready. Then I have their first, I have subfolder, like I have a wedding folder, and inside that wedding folder, I have subfolders,
Oh yeah,
bride
that's
and
another
groom's-
thing. Once you get the information, you got to create that folder, and then inside that folder, you got to do intro, bride and groom, cake, parent dances, last song, request.
Yep.
All that stuff.
You're
You gotta
making
do all that
a
stuff.
folder. You're
Yeah.
making a folder with that in the order you're doing it in, right?
You put in that folder. You put all the stuff that's happening,
Subfolders.
all the songs
Yeah,
that you
that's,
need for
that's
that.
what I do.
And then when you're on virtual DJ, when you get there, the first thing you do is on the right side on a little the little area there, you put one song right after the other in the order that everything is happening.
Yep.
Oh,
So
so
then
I
when-
just open up the folder and I just next.
No,
Okay.
it's easier if you put it on the right side.
Yeah,
It's like
put it on the
you're
right
putting
side.
it in the what do you call what is
That
it?
playlist
Yeah.
area there, playlist.
Auto mix area. So, but you don't
Yeah.
have auto mix on, but you just grab the side, boom,
Right.
drop it in.
Side list, I think they call it, right?
Okay.
Side list, auto mix list, drop in, track or deck 1, deck 2, but there's 10 songs there, you have all 10 ready to roll. It's just,
Yeah, everybody does it differently. Like you make a long MP3 and then you have cues for each song and that
Start the
long
song when you
MP3.
wanna do the
Yeah.
next.
The only problem with that is though, I like it, but what happens if like the night before or the day in the morning she goes, you know what, I changed my mind.
No, doesn't happen. I just tell them right up front.
Mike's like, go to hell.
Yeah.
You're done. That's it. This is what you're getting. And I tell them the maximum length is 12 seconds. They're like, 12 seconds? Really? I said, how long do you think it's going to take you to walk in from point A to point B? Believe me, when people start clapping and cheering and they hear your name,
It's quick.
you're all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, all right, boom, you're going, and that's it. And you know what? Your intro's not even done playing yet. You're in there already. So it's like, well, then you're waiting, or you have a cue point, so you hit that cue point, and you introduce the next couple, and all of a sudden they fly in. But what I love is the Flower Girl and the Ring Bear. They'll take their time. 9 times out of 10, you got to extend their side because, once the people start clapping for them, they're like, oh, yeah, the star of the show.
I always bring them in first, get them out of the way, because you're trying to build energy to the newlyweds. So I always put them in first, or I just hope they go, we don't want to have them come in.
I always do the parents of the bride, parents of the groom, bridal party, maid of honor, or matron of honor, best man, and then the ring bearer, flower girl, and then the bride and groom.
I don't do that way. It becomes isn't that cute? And they diddle daddle around. You killed the energy. I don't do it that way. I a lot of times I don't even do the parents because they don't want to be involved. So I introduce them at their table. This one I'm doing this weekend. The bride and groom just said, no, we don't need the parents introduced at all.
Do you guys find that the owners of like the multi-ops are more business orientated and less passionate about DJing?
Not the guy I work with. He enjoys it. Or at least the one that, owned half the company. No, like I said, he sold his half interest, but he did retain his MC specialist, so he only sells a package with just him and this guy.
Do they go through a lot of DJs? Do you find that these companies go through a lot of DJs in
No,
like
all the DJs at the company I was in were old like me, or a little bit younger. I will agree with Will. If you are new at this, multi-op is the way to go because I have some personal experience. Currently, there's some local DJs that I don't think they got any experience. They just went out, bought some gear, and think they can set it up. And if you'd like to have a car light aimed at you all night long, I can put you in touch with a DJ that can do that. There's also another one that you can just look at his setup and go, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. So I will encourage anybody who's looking to get into it, get with a multi-op. I did that, but a lot of it to me is common sense. But there's not a lot of common sense among some of these people I've seen out there. As far as speaker placement, just a look to make it look good. So if you don't know what you're doing, hook up with someone because one of our the company I work for, they have different package levels of sophistication. And if you go to a certain point, it's a 2-person package.
Right.
Got a DJ and an MC. So with that, Mike won't have the problem because, or you will, of trying to do the announcements and cues and everything because when you have the 2-person, one's just doing the music, the other one's out on the floor or along the edge of the floor introducing them. So that's ideal. When I am single, I have gotten a boom mic and now I attach that to my booth so I can be hands-free and it does alleviate more possible issues. So I just wanted to, before we get too far, I wanted to hit my highlights, the notes I made in case I forget. One of the things about being a multi-op that's good is, as Will has mentioned, steady work. Also, the other thing is because you got such a group of people, they might assign you to a place or you might have got one booked on your own that you haven't been to. But you can say, hey, have you been here? Have you been here? Oh, you have? Tell me about it.
You get support.
So you can sort of go in and get some inside intel. Like I had one of our multi-op partners she was doing a venue that I've been to before. And I was telling her, hey, it has air conditioning. They won't turn it on until the day of the event. So if it's 80, 90 degrees, expect to be miserable. So bring a fan or bring something to compensate for it. If you're over in the corner, the outlets, they need to be fixed. They need replaced. They haven't, I assume, haven't replaced them. If you're over there, you know, make sure you bring a way to keep that cord attached, or tell them you want to be set up in the middle of the room where the outlets have been replaced and, you know, they're new and they grab hold of the outlet. So it's nice to be able to do that. Also with a multi-op, if you do get a booking where you're booked up as an individual and one of the other multi-ops is free and they are relying on this for their sole income, you can help that person out. The other thing, if you're a multi-op, and I had this experience with the lady that did the event just this past weekend, her car wouldn't start. I, being the closest of the guys in the group, was the closest one to get to her. So I took my little Ryobi jump starter. I'll definitely recommend the Ryobi jump starter. Just uses the regular battery, and went over and jumped her car, and she made it home. So that's a couple of the things that's nice about being a multi-op. Some of the bad things is, as I mentioned earlier, lower pay. The thing is, and Will touched on this, and this is why I like to be able to book my own, you get a connection with them, a long-term connection. Like if it's a bridal show a year before, I don't pester them, but it's like, hey, if you got any questions, you know, reach out to me anytime. But when you're working with the multi-op, it's not quite to Will's level of Wednesday before the event. It's usually maybe 2 weeks you might get the paperwork. I might start touching base with them, like, hey, I just want to introduce myself. Also, a lot of times as the multi-op, their operation, if it's convenient and we can do it, is we go for the rehearsal. So again, then they can put eyes on you. Also, a Zoom would help with that, so they know what you look like coming in. So that's a couple of the things that and then the other thing was, if you get a review, it's almost always going back to the multi-op. And I understand that, but since I'm sort of doing both, I would like them to also put the exact same thing, you know, to me also. So those are a couple of things I wanted to mention before you know, Dwayne just shuts us down.
Yep, I'm trying to think, because there was so much that was said. Because I know at one point my internet went out, so you all froze. I know it froze right when Will had said something about getting the Google reviews and why do brides pick multi-ops. Here in Cleveland, it seems, after listening to you all, it's like Cleveland is it's similar, but a lot is different. Here, people go for the multi-ops quicker. It's one, because again, like the Google reviews, like Will said, but also they have the marketing. So therefore, most people put in DJ near me or wedding DJ or this, that. When they do a Google search, those multi-ops have the money to put in there to make sure they're in the top 10 of that search engine. So this goes back to, I know this might be a trigger point for Mike, but hopefully he don't go on a tangent. But that's why you got that's why you have certain DJs, single out DJs, that always put themselves out as bigger than what they are, or always pushing what kind of gear they have, or promoting themselves in a certain way, because they're in competition with these multi-ops. And in Cleveland, it's fierce. It's hard for a single op to get those big gigs or get your foot in the door, because you're competing against a company behind a brand. So therefore, you almost have to market yourself as on their level, and if not better.
Yeah, because they're the preferred vendor.
Right.
At a lot of these places. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I never try to compete with a multi-op. Again, I just go on my own merit. Judge me for what I have up on Facebook and other social media accounts that I have. And you could go look at those multi-ops and see what they do. that's fine. You know, they're going to post only the good stuff. I post everything, you know, so it's like I'm not trying to hide anything. I will sit down and I tell every couple, I will talk your ear off now, and you'll be saying, Jesus Christ, doesn't he shut up? When it comes down to DJing your wedding, you'll hear me say the announcements, you'll hear me say what I have to say, and then you won't hear me at all, unless I'm asked to say something. But otherwise, no. My music does my talking for me. I'm not on the microphone saying, all right, people, raise your hands. All right, people, do this. All right. Listen, you're playing the music. The music is doing your talking for you. You don't have to hype the people up. First of all, you could play the best song in the world, or you could play the worst song in the world. If the people are going to dance, they're going to dance. I did a wedding. These people were out on the dance floor for 2.5 hours straight. And I found I just threw some junk music on, figuring give them a break. Because, I mean, the venue had the AC on, but they were sweating so bad from being out on this dance floor for 2.5 hours. Give them a break, you know? And they're like, they won't get off the dance floor. Okay. So I went back to, you know, all the hot music again, and they loved it. It just, the thing that gets me is like these multi-ops, they'll say, well, our dance floors are packed all night long, blah, blah, blah. I just watched one video, and the DJ did, all he did is quick mixing all night long. And he had like an hour and a half video, not even halfway, a little more than a quarter way through the video. When it started off, yeah, the dance floor was packed. About a quarter way through it, boom, he lost at least 50% of the dance floor. Towards the end, if he had 15 people out there, that was it. But even, not even halfway through it, people weren't dancing. They were just standing around talking. It's like, well, yeah, your dance floor is packed, but are they participating? Are they dancing? No, they're standing there talking. You know, so that doesn't mean your dance floor is packed. Again, judge the DJ on merit, not because they're a multi-op, not because they can offer you more. Oh, well, we have Cold Sparks, we have this, we have that. You know, that's fine and dandy with me. I'm not going to invest in Cold Sparks. I'm sorry. There's too much other liabilities from that. If you,
I outsource for that stuff.
yeah, you can outsource for that, like we talked about, Will. But I mean, there's some DJs that just, they have to have all the glitters. You know, all the glitters doesn't make gold, and it's not gold.
Are you talking about a single op, or are you talking about a multi-op?
Multi-op and single ops too. They both do this. You know, they're like, one multi-op is against the other multi-op, one single op is against another single op, or a single op is against a multi-op, because they're all competing to be better.
But it goes right back to, if you're in business, you're in business to make money.
Yeah,
so it's no different than what Apple and Mac does against PC. They're always trying to outdo each other. There's no difference than what Prince and Michael Jackson was doing to outdo each other. So that goes back to my point. It's like, you can have the best dance floor, but if nobody knows about it, then what good is it? Because if you don't post it, and then you got your multi-ops that's doing that. See, that's why I'm saying it's different here in Cleveland than it seems like it is in your area, because that's what we have to deal with here. So therefore, you have to come and bring yourself and present yourself at a certain level, or you're gonna be stuck. You can get gigs, but you get those cheaper gigs. You won't get the big gigs. So, and then therefore, if you work with a multi-op, you'll be on a multi-op. You get the breadcrumbs, as opposed to having your name being up there on the website, or be the person that they go to first when they need a DJ. So if you want to move up the ladder, it's like there's certain things you got to play the game, because that's basically what it is. You got to know to play the game, and you got to be able to sell that dream that the client wants.
I have to disagree with you there, because, you know, when a wedding couple or a bride and groom decide to get married, one of the first places they go to is a venue to book the venue because they want that out of the way. They want to make sure their venue is secure. They'll ask the venue, hey, do you have any DJs? Do you have any photographers in mind?
What's your preferred vendor? Do you have a list?
Yeah, yeah. And, basically every place that I DJ at, I'm one of the top guys that they give me they give the couples my cards. And next thing I know, I'm getting a call from this bride and groom or groom and groom or bride and bride, and I don't refuse any type of a wedding. And again, they're not searching. I noticed this year the multi-ops prices are up here. The single op prices are down here. And with, I guess, the economy, the bride and groom don't want to spend that much money, so they're coming back down to the little lower, the cheaper price, not cheaper price DJ, but they're coming down to a price they could afford, and they know they're going to get quality. They're not going with all the glit and glamour and, like I said, all that glitters is in gold. So that's what they're going with now. Sure, being with the multi-op is great because you're going to get more work. That's one case in point. Yes, definitely you will get more work. I just like working for myself. I don't want to be told, guess what, you have to do a wedding this weekend when I have already plans. And it's like, wait a second, I have plans. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you signed a contract with me and you're supposed to be on call this weekend, or, we had somebody cancel, some DJ got sick, so no, we have to put you in. No, I like to deal one-on-one with the bride and groom. I meet with the bride and groom at least the minimum 5 times.
And you get a better tip.
No, honestly, I don't even look for tips, and if they give
me either. But when you have that that heart-to-heart, person-to-person in front of you, at the end of the party, they know how much effort it went into it, and they will give you a tip.
Yes, the one wedding I did, from that one wedding, I did 9 other weddings. And if I worked with a multi-op, would that happen? No, there's no possible way.
That's one of those times where I would easily give up a tip for a recommendation and getting another referral for another wedding, because that's chump change. I want a continual revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd much prefer, oh my God, you're great, we're going to tell everybody.
And I know in our area, like, we'll could probably verify this too. There's 1, 2, 3, top, maybe 6 multi-ops. That's it. And that's covering from the New York, Pennsylvania state border, New Jersey, Pennsylvania state border, all the way down to
Williamsport.
Well, Williamsport and down to Allentown.
Mm.
So I mean, you're talking probably about a 300 square mile radius that you only have 6 multi-ops.
There's a couple of big companies down in Allentown.
Yeah, but they, where they focus their stuff at? Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they don't even want to deal with the people in Allentown because they know they can't afford them. Yes, it's sad that these multi-ops go up here with their price point, and then you get the single op that's here with their price point.
Go
ahead.
Going back to the tip thing, could you imagine me? I don't see the bride and groom to the day of. So could you imagine the bride and groom waiting for the DJ to show up, and they're probably looking for this young, strapping, 25-year-old, and it's this fat 50-year-old guy, overweight, shows up, and he's like, oh, God damn it. Who the hell did we get?
Well,
So I have to really fight to win over the bride and groom in a matter of 5 hours.
The first thing I get is, man, you're really 60? Yeah. And I'm bald too, so it's just, and I'm old, yeah, I guess I am overweight, but it's again, I don't know. I see.
Not easy. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy, but you see I think these younger couples want to go with a more experienced DJ, person that might be in their 50s or 60s. Yeah, I could be most of the bride and groom's parents. Nine times out of 10, I could be the parents of the bride and groom. No ifs, ands, buts about it. It seems to me that they don't want to deal with a DJ their age, because a DJ their age is going to be playing all this hardcore rap, mumbo jumbo stuff, whatever. They're having a wedding. They want it to be elegant. They're having their, their grandparents, their great aunts, great uncles, this and that. And in northeastern Pennsylvania, it's like basically stereotype weddings. It's like play Cupid Shuffle, you play this, you play that. And now I just did a wedding. It was just all alternative music, which was great.
It's a different animal up here.
Yeah, I mean, we are going back 10 years ago. I mean, I played 20 polka songs. Now I'm lucky if I play one polka song.
Thank God. Thank God.
Well, the thing is, polka songs, if you play 2 or 3 because of the elderly people that are coming to the wedding, the great grandma, and she's used to hearing a polka or two. I tell you, every couple, a polka is usually about 1 minute and 50 seconds long, maybe 2 minutes long. You smoke? Yeah, go to have a smoke. Go to the bathroom if you don't like a polka. It's only going to take 2 minutes, and you're making grandma or great grandma happy, and that's it,
Unless you do the dollar dance, right, Mike? That's like half an hour of polka. Well, like half an hour.
Yep. And it's I think the bride and grooms, they're younger, but they want somebody that's a little bit older than that's in their age group, because they want somebody that's seasoned, experienced, and they want somebody that's going to take responsibility and be kind to them and to their parents and great grandparents and all their guests there. So in this younger generation today, they don't have no care about themselves. So how are they going to care for somebody else?
So what you're saying is a wedding DJ really should be 25 and over, and that's kind of like the age group that you start getting good.
No, 35 and older.
Probably 30, yeah.
30? So 30. Okay.
35.
So you're saying 25 is too young to be a wedding DJ?
They think they know everything, and they don't.
What do you think, Dwayne?
Yes, like y'all
That's
are
gonna bring
so
up some controversy.
different than. It's like I don't know. It must be a Cleveland thing. It's like.
Well, look, you got the dog pen out there, or the dog pound, Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, because it's like, to me, it shouldn't. It's not about. I wouldn't put it on an age. It's more so. It's more so.
Sweating.
No, I'm just saying.
Dwayne sweating. So is there a lot of young DJs over your area doing weddings? You see it? You see that a lot? Or
Yeah.
Probably working in the clubs.
But I wouldn't say they are good though. It depends on the person. If they have a good mentor, or if they have good training and experience, then I don't think age would really matters. But if just one of those things that is like what you're saying, the younger ones, 'cause I've seen the younger ones that play that booty ratchet stuff at weddings. Those are the ones.
I think what Dwayne is trying to say is that the young guys play for themselves, and the older guys play for the crowd.
Yeah, but then the ones that have that training knows how to go in between. We know how to know what to play, when to play it, and how to appease to both the younger and older crowd.
Amen.
Yep. So that's what it basically comes down to. And
the other thing I would recommend, if you're a newbie and you're still in school, if you can take public speaking, that will help with your MC work. If that's something that's available. I did not take it. My school did have it because I was extremely shy in school. So it was a problem that I just I'm not doing that. But now that I've gotten older, I go with the flow. I don't have a problem talking.
I'm still like that. That's
Well,
why I
here-
don't. I
here in
do.
our
I
school
do. I do
district-
basic intros, and after that, I just shut up.
here in
Shut
our
up,
school
Will.
district- Our school district, they did away with cursive writing.
Yeah.
And kids that were the last grade that was taught cursive writing was my son's grade, and then the next class coming up, they went into junior high, and the one teacher didn't realize this, and she's up at the board writing everything cursive writing, and I can see if one or two kids failed the class for that first quarter, but every student failed. That would tell you something. Well, what's wrong? If I had 37 students and all 37 fail, what am I doing wrong? If I had one or two students fail, okay, their attitude changed about school now, But you got 37 students that fail. Let me see what's going on here. And she didn't. She didn't even think about it. But all 37 students did not understand cursive writing. So you can relate that to the DJ world in a sense, like you take an inexperienced DJ, or you take a DJ that doesn't want to meet with the couples, or says, "Hey, one meeting's enough." That's it. I know you guys, and we're good to go. Guess what? No, that's not the truth. The more you meet with a couple, the more you get to know them. The more you get to know their music taste. The more you get to know how they feel about music and how they feel about their family and feel about their guest. So it gives you a better sense of what you're getting into for that evening. So that's the whole thing. Is I see North Georgia Weddings, he made a comment about just doing one meeting, and that we were a joke. I'm sorry, North Georgia Weddings, if we offend you, but I think doing one meeting is a total joke.
It takes at least 3.
Was that?
It takes at least three meetings with the
Yeah.
bride and groom.
Yeah, well, I'll go anywhere from actually 5 meetings I like, because especially the week of, I like to meet with them the week of the wedding, because there can be some changes. They may want to change the song. Somebody might have to drop out of the wedding, so that is a change. So now you have to change your intro list, even if it's only one song for them to come into and one song for the bride and groom to come into. You gotta change it. I had the one couple the day of the wedding. The one groomsman, a parent passed away, so he couldn't be in the wedding. And the bride and groom are hysterical, like, what are we gonna do? Listen, we'll work right through this. This is no problem, which we did. But I wanted to reassure them that I'm a capable person. I'm a DJ. I'm not making fun of a multi-op, but I'm someone that's caring for this couple, and I want to make sure they're going to have a great day.
Yep. But see, mine's, I use the Veiwpoint app. And so basically I have 2 meetings. I have one at the beginning, our initial one. And then I show them how to use the Veiwpoint app. And with the Veiwpoint app, I have all my questions and stuff there. And then between that meeting and the meeting usually the week before, it's like I'm emailing, texting, and I'm doing a lot of indirect communication. So it's like I don't have to have a face-to-face or a Zoom one, not unless there's something pressing that we need to talk about, that we'll do it. But I found that just meeting them that one time, show them how to do the app, go back and forth as things progress, and then also I send them emails throughout or texts, like checklists, things that they should be working on, things, to keep them on target, and then just do it like check-ins. Therefore, it's like by the time we get to the actual event, we kind of like already know each other. So it's not like I have to have a zillion meetings.
Yeah.
And I try to make it, and I try to make it informal too. I try to make it as much informal as possible, so we can have that. It's not a business transaction. It's more of a, we are working together friendship transaction.
It's a team.
Yeah.
Right. And then even
I mean,
after the event, I will still communicate with them. Like
Yes.
I make sure I send something out on their anniversary, or I definitely send stuff out for like the holidays, like Christmas, so we could still have that communication and that contact. So therefore, they're the ones that also refer me to, their friends. So that's how I stay in contact with them without doing the whole consultation thing.
That's why the more contact you have, the better it is, because you become, instead of an employee, you become part of the bridal whole event. You've become like without officially, you're almost like a family member. And because of that lot of contact and a lot of communication, if something should maybe not go quite perfect, like, oh, it was okay, no problem, But like Will on getting it Wednesday doesn't really have any contact. They don't have that friendship, that bond that they've created, and then it's like, well, he cut this song short, or something really minuscule. They might jump the company's tush a little bit more.
And by the way, there is no phone number here for the bride and groom,
so you can't even reach out to them.
No. I mean, I've done weddings for couples. I did a couple's wedding. They're from Hawaii, so now they're 6 hours behind us here in northeastern PA. I'm texting the bride and groom at midnight, and they're texting me back. We're on the texting or inboxing or whatever, instant messaging, till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. They didn't want to do a Zoom call. I was up for a Zoom call. This last wedding I just did, I met the bride and groom that day. I did a wedding last year, actually a couple weddings last year. They were emergency weddings. DJ canceled. DJ got sick. Boom, I stepped in. I took over. I didn't meet them till the day of the wedding. I didn't know what they looked like. I just got handed, like Will handed a piece of paper. Okay, I got their number. I gave them a call. Okay, now how far do you want to go? Your mother and father, the father dance, the mother and groom dance. Oh, my mother can't walk that good, so just play like 30 seconds of the song. The bride's like, oh, my dad's in a wheelchair, so I'm just gonna go out there and dance around with him. Then I had one bride. She said, she texted me. My dad got me into softball when I was 7 years old. I want to do something special. I don't know what to do. I said, well, how about we play? She wanted her special dance with him, but she wanted to have like a joke dance. I said, well, he got into softball. I said, how about we do John Fogerty center field? And she's like, oh my God, that's great. I said, all right, bring your sports bag over by me. Have his glove, have your glove, and have a softball in there. I'll happen to toss you guys the gloves out and the softball out, and it went over well. I mean, I like the meetings because I get to interact with the couple. I get to know them. They get to know me. There are times that things do change between a couple. And you could see the change. The first time you meet them, they're so in love and, oh my God, this, that. And then by the time it's getting closer to the wedding, it's like, uh-oh, I think somebody's getting a little cold feet here. Now when you're inboxing or using the app that you're using, Dwayne, you can't sense that. No, they're still communicating with you, but when you're seeing them face to face and you're getting this up, well, is this going to go or isn't it going to go, or how long is it going to last?
We meet during the Zoom. We see. No, you missing the whole. You could sense stuff through their communication. Even if you call, it's just like you build a relationship where it's almost like me calling my relative. It's not it's not like they're calling like a business. So it's like you kind of like pick up. There's just like the couple that I'm doing their wedding next week. Only had 4 weeks to get to know them, but the kind of interaction that we have, it's like we kind of like know each other. So it's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a phone call. You're hearing the person's voice and everything. A text message, it's just a text message. It's just like somebody handing you a piece of paper.
Yeah.
There's no feelings there.
A lot of the text messages can be also a mixed message. You might take it one way and they might have taken it,
an opposite way. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I don't like texting, because it can be misconstrued very easily.
Yeah, you confuse them.
I like texting because if they decide to say, well, Mike, we said to play this song, and this happened just recently, the bride sent me a text. My brother wants to dance with my mother to this song. She sends me a text and she sends me a picture. There's 5 songs in this text message. So I inbox or texted back. I said, now which one of the 5 songs do you want your brother to dance with your mom to? The one I sent you. Screenshot it. Which song? Here's the 5 songs you sent me. Yeah, that one. That one. There's 5. And that's why I texted back. There's 5 songs. Look at the picture I sent you. This is what you sent me. Yeah, that one right there. That's the song I want him to dance with my mom to. So I just put all 5 songs in the crate and then, got to the wedding. This is an emergency wedding. Never met the bride or groom. Just texted the week of the wedding because that's when I found out about the wedding. And I had the 5 songs in the folder, and I played the song that I thought would fit a mother-son dance. And bride comes home. She was like, no, Mike, that's the wrong song. I said, well, okay. There's the other 4 in the little folder here I got for you. You pick the song out now. So she picked out the song. She's like, oh my God, Mike, I feel so bad. I mean, this girl's basically screwed everything up. She put down one of the bridesmaids as giving the toast. She didn't put anybody. She didn't want the best man to give a toast. Nobody to say grace or anything like that. And then the day of the wedding, she's like, Mike, you forgot about the best man giving his toast. I said, well, here's my wedding planner. You didn't put nothing in there. And the maid of honor didn't give her toast. Well, here's who you have given the toast. One of your bridesmaids. And this girl that was a bridesmaid grew up with this girl since kindergarten. So the way she gave this toast, it was unbelievable. It was beautiful. So I'm thinking, this is the girl that's giving the toast. But here it wasn't. It's supposed to be the maid of honor. Well, it's supposed to be this girl, then the maid of honor, and then the best man. But she never marked them down. Never marked it down to say prayer. So
if you work for a multi-op, get ready to be scolded. If you do something wrong, and it gets back to the owner of the company, get ready to have a little conversation when you go back in to get paid.
But when the multi-op have that information down correctly?
Yeah, let's say you're the one that screwed up, and you have to go, and now you have to face the owner of the company.
Well, I hate to interrupt you for 1 second. North Georgia weddings, again, adapt with the times or get left behind. Buddy, I've been doing this for 22 plus years. I adapted with the times, and I never got left behind, pal.
I'll give you an example. I was busy the other day. Sometimes you start mixing, and you get into a zone. And sometimes, you forget about stuff. I forgot to give out the props. I had a bag of props in a black garbage bag behind me next to all the photographers' bags and stuff. Out of sight, out of mind. I forgot to give them out. I told what happened to him, and he goes, how the F did you forget to do that?
Is that something that your company gives as part of a package deal, or
he charges for that?
Oh, okay. I guess next time, if you got a booth or whatever, just get one out and set it so it's sitting there with all your other stuff.
Yeah, I know. What I'm doing is I was talking to Mike before that, from a while ago. I'm putting it right in front. They want it. It's right there.
Oh,
I have a wicker.
There. Gotcha. Yeah.
I have a wicker basket. Right after the introductions, after the introductions and all the formal dances, they sit down to eat. Boom, all the props go. Like if they're those light ups, they go right in the wicker baskets. That's it. And I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the venues around here hate those lights because the people are pulling the plastic bags off them. They're pulling that little plastic piece from the battery.
That's another thing. You have to do that when you work for a multi-op. You got to do that yourself before the event take everything out of their plastic, sunglasses, all that stuff, have it ready, and then have, you got to do that. It's part of the job.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't do that. No, I'm sorry.
So what what kind of multi-op are you all working? Because it's like, those seems like up here, multi-ops, the ones that would do that would be the ones that have multiple people on a gig. They wouldn't be a single person going out having to do
one person,
that.
baby. I do everything.
I'm like, then that multi-op might be something that you might want to change. You might not want to deal with them.
Well, I am I'm working for another company starting already. We'll see how they do next year if they give me a lot of gigs. If they start getting really popular, I'm gonna move on over. But it's trust me, all these multi-op companies, they're all the same. It's like they want you to be perfect, but it's like if you mess up one time, they just like they go on.
So your original multi-op company is not having a problem with you working with another company.
Well, I've only done one.
To keep it down low.
They outsourced to me. I feel that this multi-op company that I work for only gives me parties when they're overbooked. So I'm part of the company. I'm in the website. My picture is in there, but I feel that everybody else gets more gigs because they get paid less.
Yeah.
Because I have my own equipment, my own van, so they kind of like he outsources to me, so he has to pay me a little bit more than everybody else.
Yeah. I was curious whether you're allowed to do other, because me and my uncle reached out to a multi-op down in the Columbus market to get some information because they were looking to add to their team. And after we found out, that we were going to use our stuff and the pay was going to be pretty good, but we had to give up our own identity and totally just work for them.
Right. You got to use their business cards, their name.
And it's like, well, I already got bookings, and you're basically telling me there's nothing in the foreseeable future at this point in time that I'm going to get booked for your company. So I'm going to have to go with nothing until you finally get enough, and I'm going to be the lowest on the totem pole. And they mentioned they had some venues where they've made a package deal with the venue that they're included, and they're like I don't know, probably $400 or $500. So it's like, okay, I'm going to have to go clear down there and probably beyond for these events because I'm going to be lowest on the totem pole. So it was just no, thank you. I'm going to have to pass. So
I'm gonna give you a situation that happened in this company that I'm working for right now. So the DJ's been with the company he was with the company for like 5 years, and fine, he was doing gigs for them, 2 or 3 gigs a month, whatever. He was part of the company, and he did a bridal show where the multi-op was there, and he showed up with his own booth. Himself, like representing himself.
Yeah.
Got fired.
Wow.
He didn't. The owner didn't like that. Yeah. So, I guess a question would be do you talk to the owner of the company and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be there representing myself. Is that okay?"
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been different.
I look at it like this. Like this. If you're going to do that, then that tells you right there it's time for you to leave that multi-op.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Because it sounds like some of these multi-ops, you're better off doing it yourself. You may not get all the gigs, but at the same time, I'd rather have less gigs and get paid and valued for my worth as opposed to be crapped on working for somebody else for peanuts. So I'm like, yeah, if you're going stepping out and you don't have an exclusive rights to that company, you just might as well just cut ties and move on because it's better for you financially and better for your mental health.
And that's what it is with the multi-ops here in Northeastern PA. Not all of them, but majority of them is they own the company. And I mean, I heard the price, what the one multi-op, what the owner actually charges to do a wedding. I almost fell over. But when he sends a DJ out from his stable, the price is a lot lower. But if you want him, specifically him, the price is up here. So I mean, right there is telling me that this guy who owns this multi-op, that's what he thinks of his DJs. They were down here, they're below him. Another DJ that comes to mind is he's a great DJ. He's up here on a pedestal, and he goes down to community college. He goes around here to the one community college and a junior college, and look at people that are going to school in the communications department. And hey, you can come work for me, do your internship with me. And yeah, he'll sign off on your internship, but he doesn't pay them nothing. And they're coming up, they're doing all the setup, they're doing the sound checks, they're doing this, they're doing that. He walks in, does the announcements, he leaves. And then one of the guys that's going to school to come, a sound tech somewhere or whatever, or working the radio, boom, he's stuck there DJing till the end of the night.
Yeah, don't be this guy right here. Get an invoice for $3,000, but get paid. Your check says exposure, so don't be. But
exactly.
there's different kinds of multi ops. Some of them are cool, and then some of them are just scammers, just juicing people. And to me, you got to know your. I can understand you trying to get your foot in the door, but then you also got to have a bottom line and know where enough is enough and be ready to walk if you have to, or stand up or ask for more.
You guys know Cleveland Terry, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, now I could be wrong, but he said that when a customer calls in and says, "Oh my God, I love John. He was great. I want John for my bar mitzvah." And then so Cleveland's like, well, it doesn't work like that. It's whoever's available that month for your party, that's who's gonna go. But if you want John, I can get you John, but it's gonna be twice as much.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to book John, he'll book him for $4,000, and because they're asking for John because they liked him. To book him for that day, to hold on to him in stone, they're going to pay more. My question is, does John get paid more? And how does John know that they ask specifically for him?
I thought Cleveland Terry prides himself on paying his DJs so they don't have to go outside and do extra work. So I'm going to assume he's getting paid swell to begin with.
Yeah.
So those
guys that do bar mitzvahs, they get paid good money.
Mm-hmm.
So, somebody like Cleveland Terry will take care of his DJs because he has respect for them. They're bringing him money, but he's taking care of them. There's some multi-ops, like I just said. Well, I mean, the one multi-op around here, he could care less about his DJs. And there was another multi-op, the gentleman passed away. I mean, he would take people off the street, train them for a week, and say, "All right, here, you're going out on your own." He's charging $1,500 for the gig, and he's giving this guy who never really DJ'd, that has no clue about genres of music or this or that, and he's giving $150, and he's getting paid $1,500. So he's ahead, $1,350, and this guy makes $150, and he thinks it's great. Well, I made $150.
But that's only temporary. If you really think about it, if you take somebody that have no experience, okay, you'll make a whole bunch of money off of them, but they're not going to do the job, and that's eventually going to come back to him. So,
well, what happens? He'll have him for 2 or 3 gigs, then he'll get rid of them. Then he'll go pick up somebody else, then get rid of them after 2 or 3 gigs. It's crazy. Just a vicious cycle,
Isn't that a waste of time?
That's
supposedly. Yeah and no, because he's getting the money, he's getting paid, and he has a couple other DJs working for him that he does pay them not good, but he pays them a decent wage. So they're training these other guys that they're a part of this vicious cycle too, because now there's more money coming into the company, and now they're getting paid to train this DJ, which he knows, unless the DJ's exceptionally really knocking the socks off people, that he's gonna stick with them. Otherwise, they're gone after 2-3 months. That's it. And it's just a vicious cycle.
I could see that happening with birthday parties and stuff like that, but I wouldn't do that with weddings because those reviews will come back to bite you in the ass.
That's
Well-
what Wade was saying.
Well, that's why they go by a fictitious name. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Hey, ABC Entertainment, they suck. They destroyed our wedding. 6 months down the road, instead of him being ABC Entertainment, now he's Valley Entertainment. Then a year or two from now, he's Up the Crick Entertainment. It's a vicious cycle that they just keep changing names. They keep changing DJs. I mean, it's unbelievable. And that's what's happening here in Northeastern PA. Not all. There's, like I said, there's about 6 or 7, but there's not a handful, even like 2 or 3 that are just despicable to work for. I mean, a friend of mine had another DJ come and help him to set up and break down, and the guy would drive all the way from his house, come up, help him pack up the van, drive up to the venue, help him unpack, set up, drive all the way back home, drive all the way back up, help him break down, pack up the van. Then on the way home, they'd stop at McDonald's or Burger King. He'd buy him a Whopper or a Big Mac. I said, well, what else did he pay him? You at least give him $100? No, you crazy, Mike? I said, what do you mean? You didn't give him no money? Oh, no, I bought him the Whopper meal. I'm like, what? Yeah. And that's what he paid this gentleman, a Whopper meal. I mean, would you go set up, drive a half hour, then go back home, and then leave your house, when it gets over at 10 o'clock, you're leaving the house at 9 o'clock to get up there to break this guy down, drive back, stop at Burger King, scoff your Whopper down to get back to this other DJ's house, unpack everything and pack everything away from him? No, I mean, you wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it for a Whopper, To me, that's just crazy. But this guy did it.
And one more thing, if you're working for a multi-op and you're the house DJs at the catering hall, at the catering place, you got to walk on eggshells. And let's say somebody from the staff that's in charge just comes at you wrong. Guess what? You got to take it.
Yeah.
Because you're the house DJs there. If they come back to the owner of the company and say that you were rude to them, it's just stuff like that. It's just like you have to take it. Unfortunately, if you're working for yourself, you could just tell a lady, go kick rocks. You can do whatever you want. But when you're working for somebody else, you're gonna have to take it, man.
Yeah.
You can't complain.
And that's the truth. It's not, if you're working for the right multi-op, it could be tremendously great for you or them. You could have a tremendous experience, and you could build your DJ profile, and you could eventually maybe break out on your own if you want to break out on your own, or you may just want to stay with that multi-op, which, hey, that's great too. But the multi-ops around here don't. Not all of them, but the majority of them don't feel that way. They have their DJs.
We're expendable.
Way below them, and they're expendable. Hey, we'll get somebody else. We'll get somebody from King's College that has a radio station. We'll get one of their DJs come fill in. Is a radio DJ actually a wedding DJ? No. But guess what? In a pinch, he'll fill in. We'll give him $100. What college student is going to refuse $100 for DJing a 5-hour wedding? That's $20 an hour. He can't go to the convenience store and make $100 an hour, and he's only going to work 4 hours there, and there's a chance he might get held up or whatever, So, or a fight might break out in the store. So, sure, I'll go do a wedding for 5 hours. I'll get paid $100. Boom. I throw a shirt tie on. I get fed a meal. And plus, I'm making $100 for that night. So that's how the wedding multi-ops around here feel. They just don't care. They own the company. We're making the money. Just like my buddy, he signed the contract with his uncle. He had to give his uncle 50% of the gigs that he booked on his own. And the contract was locked in for 2 years. Even though his uncle didn't book that gig for him, he got it on his own. If he charged, say if he did a wedding and he charged $1,500, he only made $750 because $750 had to go to his uncle. Is that fair? No. That's what I told my buddy. I said, dude, don't sign this contract with Mike. I want to get more gigs. I said, yeah, you can. Just get your name out there. That's all. Matter of fact, my buddy who's a photographer, he texted me on Saturday. I was doing Saturday. I was doing a 60th birthday party. He said, Mike, are you available to do a wedding? I'm like, why, what's up? Here, the DJ never showed up until 10 minutes before dinner. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? So, there, I mean, and the guy works for a multi-op.
You got it all out.
No.
I don't.
Oh, and one more thing. If you work for a multi-op, you can't call out sick.
No matter how sick you are. No.
Nope. You gotta go. You gotta go. No matter how sick and how you don't want to feel like working that night, it doesn't work like that. It's not a regular job. You can't call out sick. And the one thing that these multi-ops are looking for primarily is someone dependable. Someone dependable, somebody that can take direction and follows instructions. If you could do that, you don't need to mix. You don't need to know nothing about music. All you have to do is follow the instructions.
Yep.
Because
Go
everything
from
is here.
Beginning to the end.
It's the beginning to the end. And all the requests are going to be on there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's amazing how multi-ops around here treat their employees, their DJs, whatever you want to.
The one thing I do when I'm trying to compare me as a solo versus the multi-ops, which I still, like I said, do help. I always tell them when I'm going to the bridal shows or whatever, it's like, you're talking to me. So when you're talking to me, all that information stays with me. It's not disseminated to this person or this secretary and this person. So everything you're telling me, because you're going to be your guy, stays with me. It's up in my head, you know, and I don't have to worry about communicating this to, you know, if I was a multi-op to someone else. So like I said, I've helped out Dwayne doing some things, and I don't really expect Dwayne uses Veiwpoint, and it's like, that's what he's comfortable with. So I want him to be comfortable. And it's like, you know, go with God and use Veiwpoint with Dwayne. So I always like to do that, is because you want that DJ, whoever, if it's someone that you're helping out, you want them to feel comfortable. You want them to, and I've used the paperwork that we have for a number of years, so I'm comfortable with that. I do have a lot of brides, they'll want to write up their own paperwork, and it's like, well, this is great. You couldn't have just filled out our paperwork, which I'm used to, so now I got to take and transpose everything from the paperwork they created onto the paperwork I'm used to using. So, and because of that paperwork, I know when I'm talking to them to ask certain questions. You know, like when I'm doing the intros, do you want a more sedentary intro, or do you want a WWE, you know, let's get ready to rumble kind of thing? So these are all extra questions I ask above and beyond the questionnaire. So that's how I try to differentiate myself, is like, you know, that questionnaire is going to me, not to me. And then I was like, okay, what guy or girl or whatever is appropriate for this if I was a multi-op? You know, it's like, I get that sort of feedback on what they want. And if I don't feel I'm good for it, I'll just say, that is not my cup of tea. And either I will say, I'd rather not do your event because I want your event to be knockout great, but I do maybe have someone that will fit that.
yeah,
And
I'm not
if
the
I
guy.
do,
I'm not the guy for you.
I will throw that out there. Like I had one that reached out to me, and they were like, "Oh, we want, you know, dance music and salsa." Oh, I am not at all. I am a white, so salsa is not my jam.
Just call Will.
Yeah, but I do have some people that I have networked with that if it should come to fruition, I will bring him along and he will be my second banana. And he has a lot of experience in that kind of music. So I know I could just go online and ask ChatGPT, but I'd rather go beyond that. I'd rather have someone with background in that. So, that's one where I was hesitant, but then it's like, I know some people. I will go ahead and tell them, yes, I'm available. Let's have more of a discussion. So
I love this North Georgia weddings and events. Laugh my LMFAO story time with Grandpa. Boy, oh boy. Uh, it's nice to have a YouTube channel with one subscriber and just a couple videos up.
Do we have to do another episode on how we should treat one another? We did two of them already.
But going back to, again, the multi-ops here in northeastern PA, they just don't. It's not that they don't care. They care about certain people in their stable. And some DJs have been with these certain multi-ops for basically right when the guy or women or whoever started the multi-op. And they've been with them right from the onset. But they're far and few in between. The one multi-op I know the owner. Well, actually, I knew both owners of the company, and the one owner, just what happened, somebody died in his family and was left a lot of money, so he was able to invest a lot more money into the company. And then eventually the other guy said, "That's it, I'm out of it. I can't keep, I can't keep dumping money into something that I don't own." Well, they own it, but he couldn't compete with the other owner already. So he just stepped back and he started his own business. He owns a venue now, and he's doing a lot better than what he was working with the multi-op. Not working, was part owner of that multi-op.
All right.
It's just it's sad to treat. They don't consider them employees because most of them get paid in cash, so they're like a subcontractor or whatever you want to call them. And boom, they don't care about them. It's so sad. Like what Will said, he got scolded because he forgot to give out the props. He has so much other stuff on his mind. It's unbelievable. And
how about the fact that the wedding was perfect? The ceremony was perfect. The intros were perfect.
Oh, that's overlooked.
And I've been perfect for the last 3 years. I haven't made 2 years, 3 years I've been with the company. There hasn't been really any mistakes. But you forget about that, right?
Yep, they do. They'll overlook that 1,000 times. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You know why? Because he's got to give back money. That's why.
Oh yeah. And what he charges that couple for those props, and what he actually paid
at least
for them,
$100. At least $100 they charge for those props.
if not more. And the amount that he orders of them,
Oh yeah.
he probably didn't even pay $100 for.
No. He gets $10 probably. Got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Curious, since I've not experienced. I know what you're talking about, the item wise. How many does he order, or does the bride and groom decide? Like, let's say the party's got 200 people. Does he do 200? Does he do half of whatever the head count is?
It's probably 50 batons, LED batons, 50 glow necklaces, stuff like that. They all come in a big box. No, actually, he gives me a bag, but I'm transferring them to totes now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for you when you told me that. I'm like, oh my god.
I felt bad. I felt bad for days that it happened to me because we're passionate about what we do. We're passionate.
We're our own worst critic.
Yeah, sometimes it'll take days for me to get over something stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I always look back at an event. What could I have done better? What did I make a mistake on? And we're all human. We're all going to make an error. You might have mispronounced somebody's name the wrong way. I mean, it just, we're human. We're gonna make mistakes. Nobody's perfect in this world. The thing is, you just try to improve. But each gig, each thing that you do, like I said, I'm not on the microphone at all when I'm DJing. It's just, hey, I do what I have to do. That's it. And my music does my talking for me. And I specifically tell the bride and groom that. And they're like, that's what we want, Mike. That's why we're looking at you. That's why we want to hire you. You're not, we talked to 10 other DJs, and then we went to their YouTube channel, or we went to their Facebook, and they're on the microphone continuously. You don't even hear the song because they're talking all the time. That ain't me. I will guarantee you that if there's an announcement to be made, I will announce it. If you want me to dismiss the tables, I will dismiss the tables. Whatever you need from me, I will do for you. And again, that's why they come looking for me. I not pat myself on the back, but I promise I just promised them I could make their day as stress-free for them, because it is a lot of stress for the bride and groom. And also, I want them to have a great time. I want them and their guests that they're inviting, because their guests, that's like their extended family. It might be friends, might be family members. It may be, like I say, great aunts, great uncles, great grandparents, whatever. I want them to all enjoy themselves. I talk to the bride and groom saying, listen, what the first thing is, the first question I ask, does anybody have anything like medically possibly wrong with them that strobe lights will affect them? No. Well, why ask, Mike? I said, well, you want a club atmosphere, so you're gonna have strobe lights. Oh, my one friend is epileptic. I said, oh, I know, Mike. Oh, yeah, kill the strobe lights. Then, another thing is you probe and you ask them these couple little questions, and you get to find out more about them and their family, and ask them, what's the age group you're inviting? Are kids coming? No kids. All right, what's the age group? Well, my great grandmother's coming, she's 93. My great uncle, he's like 82, and this, that. So, okay, but you're only sticking with 2000 to 2018 music. Are they going to really enjoy that? Oh, like I never even thought of that. So they didn't think of it because they weren't so worried about their wedding. And I want to open their eyes to what they are missing when they get there that wedding day. Because if you just listen to them and stick to 2000, 2010, or 2018, whatever it is, and next thing you know, family members are leaving, elderly neighbors are leaving, and you're like, why are they leaving? Well, they're not into this music. It's like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. Like, so I try to open up their eyes to that prior to from the first meeting. I explain all that to them, and then just go from there. That's it.
What's so sad about a multi-op DJ? It's embarrassing that when I get there this weekend to the event, I gotta ask who the groom is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing.
If you a lot of times, not always, if you know their names now, you can type in their names and type in wedding and type in the state, and sometimes they have a splash page on Knot and
Yes.
Wayfire and some of those.
Yeah.
So you can sort of get a preview of what they look like.
Yeah.
I'll do that for prospective ones that are reaching out to me.
Yeah,
Just
I
because I'm
Googled
not sure
them.
it's legit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Facebook, you can go on there too. So
Yeah.
there's sort of sometimes workarounds to learn a little bit of what they look like, or maybe a little background or whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, I go on Facebook, check out their profile picture, and check out their information, and you get a sense of feeling what they are doing in their life. There's an app I have on my phone. A couple of people tried, hey, how about if I pay in check? I'll pay with a credit card, and then I see, I go on this app and I look it up, and this person's been arrested for passing bad checks, claimed bankruptcy 5-6 times. They're in debt, $100,000 in credit card debt. So, wait a second, I don't want your credit card. I don't want your check. How about a money order? If you want to do cash, so you have to protect yourself as a single out. A multi-out, you can write it up because you might have 6 weddings that weekend, because you might have 10 DJs working for you. So you may have 10 weddings that weekend. And if one check bounces, so you got nine other checks that didn't make it through, and you'll go to the magistrate and get that one check that bounced straightened up. But you have the collateral to do that because you have 9 other weddings from that weekend.
Well, also, you're not the owner of the company, so they have to go after that deadbeat. So,
well, as I said, if you were the owner of that multi-op and you had 10 weddings, one check bounced, you have the collateral to go after them. As compared to me, I'm a single op, so I'm not going to go chasing them down. I'll get my money out in some way. Just keep calm, not harass them, but just keep calm, send them, say, hey, listen, I'm going to take you to the magistrate. Sometimes they will give in, sometimes they won't. If they don't, then I will go to the magistrate. But it's a long, drawn out process, and you have to protect yourself. You have to look after yourself if you're a single op. If you're a multi-op, you're there to do a job. That's it. And I know a lot of multi-op DJs, and they're like, we don't care what we play. We don't care. I mean, the one multi-op DJ, he came to the venue, and everything was set up for him. He was kind enough to warn the audience or the guest to please keep their children away from the lights because they're all halogen lights. And this was about 7 years ago. It was right prior to COVID. There was barely anybody using halogen lights.
Yeah, they don't want to waste money.
But this multi-op had halogen lights, and the lights were placed on the ground. So, I mean, these little kids are running up, and they're ready to touch it. He's like, no, get away. So finally he stopped the music, and he just said, hey, ladies and gentlemen, can you please keep your children away from the lights? They're extremely hot. They're halogen lights. I'm going to shut them off for a little bit so I can handle them, and I can get them up on the stands here. So, I mean, I felt bad for the guy. That's what a multi-op has to deal with. He's never going to see you again. You don't know how long he's going to be with that multi-op agency. So it's just, it's sad how they treat their employees.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know it because I've never been there. I've never worked at for multi-op, but you got justification there, Dwayne.
Right.
You heard it, well, welcome to this world. That's what he has to deal with.
So where are you all from?
I'm at the border of New Jersey and PA, the Poconos.
Yeah, northeastern Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Hey, Meta, note to self, don't go to Napa and join a multi-op. They're terrible.
I mean, there are a few that are very good.
In Jersey, they pay well.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, Jersey.
Jersey pays well.
Jersey multi-ops are phenomenal. They treat their DJs with respect.
Yeah.
And not only if you're working for them, but they're allowing you to go out and DJ on your own.
It's also a higher standard, I think, Mike, also.
Yeah, and plus sometimes they'll even give you or let you borrow the equipment to go. Oh well, I was going to use moving heads, but geez, I didn't get my moving heads yet. And a multi-op will say, yeah, good, use our moving heads. But if they break, you're going to replace them. But that's the difference. They care about their employees, their DJs, whatever.
They're passionate.
Yes, very, very passionate.
One of the other things I see, you put up a slide, that the multi-ops, if they don't have it tied to someone's name, it's just, we be DJing, or something like that, that company can actually change hands and keep being a known entity for years. While when you're a single op, so they can have we've been doing this since 1950, or whatever. So they go, whoa, you know. So that's a way that they can be in better than a single guy. It's like, yeah, I've been doing it since 1990. It's like, well, this company's been in business since, you know, 1950. So I think I'll go with them. They got to be knowing what they're doing. They look how long they've been around. So that's another thing a multi-op can do. It can change hands and be totally different ownership.
Mm-hmm.
But because they have that continuity of that name for all those years, you can ride sort of the coattails of that name being in existence for such a long time.
Mm.
Hey,
Now-
Dwayne,
Yeah.
I can't, buddy. You didn't warn us, man. We're at the almost 2.5 hour mark.
Oh yeah, he did it, but you were busy
He did.
talking. He did it a long time ago, but I couldn't come in. So when you watch the video again, when you start seeing me go like this and doing all this,
I thought you.
Those are the that's like baseball, you know, they're the signals for bunt. When he starts doing that, it's like shut your.
I thought you were pulling one of me that night. I was like this.
You see Dwayne just dropping out of the screen.
But
I mean, it hurts me to see DJs getting treated so bad by these multi-ops that, then these DJs get disgusted and they're like, oh, I'm not going to DJ no more. I'm done.
I feel so depressed. I think I'm gonna need some therapy after this session.
Yeah.
speaking about depressed and therapy, let's try to wrap this up since we've gone over our 2 hours. And since you dramatized all these DJs about working with a multi-op, let me see if I can clean it up. Because
well, when you're around 22 years, you see this thing happening to all these DJs. I'm just giving them a fair warning. Go out on your own. Don't work for a multi-op.
it depends. 'Cause again, it's like what I said. Cleveland, we have we have the same kind of situations that you all have, but then that's only a small percentage. There's a lot of multi-ops that are pretty decent. Yeah. So I don't want you all to see this video and think that all multi-ops operate like this. That's not the case.
Yeah, because we're maybe like a small area. Like it's not the same in the big cities.
Yep. But the one thing I want you to take away from this is you need to be able to make your own judgment and make good choices, because the way that you treat yourself or allow people to treat you is the way that you're going to get treated. So let me blow this up. Solar op versus multi-op. If you're a solar op, you set your price and you get to keep that money. It's all yours, but you have to hustle for it. You got to put in the work. You got to do the promotion. Your brand is your brand. You're not representing somebody else's. You have full creative freedom, because I know some multi-ops want you to do it exactly like them. They give you a script, or they even go as far as to give you a hard drive. So you got to play their music. You can't have any kind of your uniqueness involved. You usually got to learn on your own, learn by making mistakes, or again, if you're fortunate to have a good mentor you can shadow, that's a good way to learn the ropes. And then being a solo op, you have to buy and maintain your own gear. And again, everything is your responsibility. But if you work for a multi-op, you'll take a smaller cut of the fee, and it varies. Some multi-ops will take the bulk of the pay. Some would just ask you to pay a small finder's fee, like the one that me and Kevin knows. He just asked for $100, and then you charge whatever. It's almost like a gig salad, getting a gig through Gig Salad, or what's the other one? It begins with the B. Bark, where you gotta, where you book, if you book something, you gotta pay. They want you to do the honorable thing and pay the little finder's thing. But multi-ops, you can stay consistent. But with the multi-ops, it's always company first. Just like they frown on people that go out for themselves, do their own marketing on the company time. Again, you got to follow the company styles and script, but they do train you. The bigger ones, better ones that care about their DJs and their crew, because again, their crew represents the company. They will make sure they train you and make sure they send you out with a veteran to show you the ropes, and they just don't want let you go out there and hang yourself, because that doesn't, no one wins when you do that. And some multi-ups, the more expensive ones, will have their own gear, just like you mentioned Cleveland Terry. He has gear that he'll let his DJs use. And again, the workload is shared. So it's not like you're doing all the booking, all the secretary stuff, all the lifting. You can have a roadie, all the lighting, all the MCing and dancing, all that. With a multi-op, if you get with a good one, that have all that for you. So with that, let's shout out everybody. Sorry I wasn't able to get to our chat, but I would like to shout out our chat. For those that came in, I know Sean, DJ Not Owl was all in the chat. I saw DJ Pretty Boy from La Ruckus Ent and Start Spin. I think I saw Chinchilla in the house. Yeah. Buddy, of course, was there from TPM Productions and the Round Table. Let me see, did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody from the chat.
Hey, maybe we could have this guy from North Georgia on tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We can do that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm positive we can get him on.
All right.
All right. But then, again, I'd like to thank Kevin from DJK Productions. And you can follow him on Instagram at DJK Productions 1966. And he's on Facebook under DJK Productions and YouTube. If you just find the logo there, that's Kevin, our DJ KJ. Then also I'd like to thank Will for coming on. And his handle is at DJ Will Silva. And that's his YouTube channel. He's a bilingual Spanish DJ, right? Spanish. And make sure you check out his YouTube channel, because he has a lot of Spanish mixes up there that he does. You can also join our Facebook group page, and there's the long URL code. Or you can just type in, queue it up, DJ Podcast, join the private group or the public group. You can follow DJ Mikie Mike on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at DJ Mikie Mike. And then on Instagram, it's at DJ Mikie Mike 45. You can join me on all my socials at HitmanDDub. And then we have this thing called the DJ Collective Network. Let me get this thing out the way. It's a group of DJs where it's one culture, many voices. And as I was reading the comment section, just remember the views and opinions expressed during the DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of the individual.
Yourself, Dwayne.
Can't hear you, Dwayne.
What happened here? Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate when that thing popped up when I moved it. Again, we have this thing called the DJ Collective Network, where it's one culture, many voices. And as I was saying, as I saw reading the comments in the chat, it was so many I couldn't get to it and filter out which ones to read. But just remember, the views and opinions expressed during the DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of the individual hosts and guests of that show. They do not necessarily reflect the views or official stance of the different shows of the DJ Collective Network as a whole, its affiliates or production partners. Viewers and listeners' discretion is advised. And this, make sure we are all professionals. We all have our own opinions, and we all may not agree, but we can still be civil with our comments and everything. And but basically we all have the same goal in mind, to do our best and make sure our clients are pleased with our work. And that's the main takeaway.
Pleased and satisfied.
Yep. So it's welcome to our primetime DJ lineup, a weekly schedule of live stream shows built for DJs by DJs. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, we got the knowledge, stories, and inspiration to help you level up. So on Mondays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, for every DJ chasing dreams, no matter the odds, it's your time to spend with DJ Cool Thing. Then on Tuesdays, join Buddy and his weekly guest panel of DJs for unfiltered conversations that matter. On Tuesdays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Twitch. It's the DJ Roundtable with Buddy from TBM Productions. Real DJs, real stories, real lessons, all at the Roundtable. And if you missed the live broadcast on Tuesday, you can see the rebroadcast on Monday at 1 o'clock on Buddy's channel, which is at TBM Productions DJ1 YouTube channel.
I missed the show last night.
Yep.
I watched my Yankees.
All right. And then on Wednesdays, we had at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, we have the DJ Biz School with Sean, DJ Night Owl. It's not just about spinning tracks, it's about spinning success. Learn the business side of DJing, branding, marketing, SEO, and strategy. And then also, besides doing the DJ Biz School, he has another venture. He also has a photo booth that he's selling. So if you're looking to add some serious wow factor to your events, check out the beta booth from Photo Booth Direct Club. It's got upgraded lighting and wiring and mirror faceplates that guests love. And it even comes in a rolling luggage style case. So setup is a breeze. The best part, you can use our code, queue it up, and you'll save $350. That means you get it for just $1,645. So again, if you use our Queue It Up code, you can get it for $1,645. So head to photoboothdirectclub.com and grab yours now.
That's nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And he's going to come on the show and talk about photo booths and using it as an add-on, and then tell us more about his photo booth that he's selling. And now it happened October 23rd. So mark your calendars for that. And then on Thursday, the busy day of the week, we have the Queue It Up DJ podcast with me, the HitmanDDub, and DJ Mikie Mike. It's just,
I think that's the quietest show that's on.
Yep. It's not just talk. It's real tools for real DJs of all skill levels. And then we also have our friends at Start to Spin. They also have their podcast at 9 o'clock, hosted by DJ Pretty Boy and DJ Shay. And then we have Kevin. You can see Kevin live on the KJ Chill Room karaoke chat with Matt and Eric. They're live every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern at djntv.com/KJ Chill. And you can see the rebroadcast of that Sunday nights on the DJ Network TV YouTube channel on Sunday nights. Also, don't forget at _ DJ Reese _ with We Create the Vibes podcast. You can join him. He has a nice series of podcasts that he talks about DJing in the corporate arena. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. And then our fade out message is, make sure you're building a DJ career that works for your lifestyle and legacy. As you heard, doing a solo op could be great for some people. A multi-op in some situations might be a better fit, at least for if you're trying to get in. If that might be the easiest and cheapest way to try to get your foot in the door. But if you see that there's a glass ceiling there and you want to break through, sometimes you might have to go out and step outside and do your solo op thing. Just know that there's, either way it goes, you still got to put in the work. There's no shortcuts. Pretty much just to be point blank blunt about it. Because if you're, in order to get on, because in Cleveland, in order to get on with a good multi-op, you still got to put in the work and you got to show that you're valuable to that company. So you still got to get the reviews, you still got to do the socials, you still got to go out and do things on your own. So that's just like with the entertainment field anyway. Because if you think about
when I started DJing here in Northeastern PA, there was only a handful of DJs. I mean, you went to the Yellow Pages, at that time it was the Yellow Pages, there might have been 8 DJs in Northeastern PA. So, I mean, it's growing, but sometimes at the wrong pace or the wrong area, you know?
Mm-hmm. And let's see, I'm trying to look through my notes and make sure I got everything. So I think I got everything. Anybody want to say anything before we cut out?
Well, I just want to say thanks for the invite again.
Okay, no problem. Anytime.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here with us. I'm glad it was a nice, quiet show tonight. Will, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne, all I have to say is,
you gotta go like this. You gotta rub your nose. You want me to shut up?
But you be literally watch the video. You when you talk, you be like this, and you looking side to side. You don't even be looking.
You know what I was doing? I was watching the Yankees game on my phone. I'm like,
at least you didn't fall asleep.
No, I didn't fall asleep. They won 4-0. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I will say one thing you mentioned right there at the end, you know, you might want to, if you're new, start out at a multi-op. Now, also by starting out at the multi-op, maybe they're going to refreshen some of their equipment. Might be a good chance to say, hey, you're going to sell this stuff. You know, I wouldn't mind, you know, and then maybe you're then setting yourself up for spinning yourself out on your own, and you can take, because you know what kind of condition their equipment is in, whether you want to invest in what they're, you know, getting rid of.
Mm-hmm. It's all about positioning yourself.
At North Georgia wedding and events, I mean, again, I'm old. I got to put my glasses to see what these writing here. He said, "I'm sorry for getting your prayers up, man. I'm gonna have to take an extra Valium tonight now, just to get a little sleep." Hey, it's all fun, man. I'm 60. If I'm around 10 more years doing this stuff, I'd be happy. Believe me.
you know, these old guys, man, they get cranky.
Yeah, especially when your Depends gets wet. I just let everybody have fun, and I know I run my mouth a lot, and I know Dwayne's a quiet guy in the show here, but it's just for fun. You know, DJing is supposed to be a lot of fun, and just every client you get, treat them with the utmost respect, and the way you treat them, your business is going to grow like you wouldn't believe. It's going to grow tenfold. Believe me.
Yep.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes.
It's better to be over prepared. Yep.
My face is red. My lights are making it look red. I have a light here. It's like it's like a reddish color. So yeah, I'm cool, man. My blood pressure ain't up at all.
But for a second, it did do. You did have that look. There was a couple of chats that you read. You did. He did get to you.
I got a little peed. But,
yeah, I know you did. We all saw it.
Was Mike's eyes turning green? Was he going to Hulk out on us?
Well, you know, going back about 7 years ago, if I hulked out, you'd be like, "Oh shit," because I was 384 pounds, and I wore a size 4X, and it was tight on me. Now I'm down to 232, which I'm happy.
See, that's what the stress of DJing causes. Weight loss.
Now, old age causes weight loss.
Oh, okay.
Old
I'm
age.
waiting for that to kick in for me then.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Well, I want to say, honestly, since you hit 50, it looks like you lost about 8 pounds.
That's because it's the camera. The camera angle.
Camera always has weight.
All right, again, I would like to thank everyone for hanging out with us and joining us here in the chat. Maybe it'll be, again, in Cleveland, we always have this slogan, maybe next year. Next year will be our year. That's our slogan.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the Indians. Yeah, they'll be back next year. I know that.
We still got the Browns.
I don't call them that generic name. Who, the Browns? I'm a Jets fan, man. I stand up for the AFC.
Cavs?
No, we got Ohio State. That's our thing.
Oh, yeah, it's Ohio State, yeah.
I don't have time to watch sports. I'm working for a multi-op. I don't have time.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of those solo benefits.
And then,
guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. North Georgia Weddings and Events, thank you for showing me a great night today. I had a lot of fun. Believe me. Yeah, you have me a little peeved, but it's all in fun, man. All in fun.
Okay. And with that said,
I just can't wait to get him on the show.
And with that said, whether you're a solo op or a multi-op, just make sure you go out there and crush those gigs. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday. And remember, before it's time to spin, you gotta first cue it up.
I'ma rise like the sun while the world still sleeps. Scouring the sights looking for new leads. Marathon gigs with no in between. Your worth is from a rear view they seen. They wanna park you, but I'm battling fatigue, chasing passion while my mental is still out on leave. It's an everyday hustle, so respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Cue up the pressure. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. Pressure. Every dollar earned got a story to tell. Dreams in the booth where the DJs dwell. Clubbing is a struggle like it's all I've got. Set it up, break it down, travel to the next spot. Ambitions, the engine stay sharp like a tool. Revving through my gigs, power drinks is fuel. It's an everyday hustle, we'll respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. 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 Cue up the pressure. 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 Cue up the pressure. The pressure. Cue up the pressure.